Good evening and welcome to BCN News. Top story tonight, the Premier Delton Tangilanghi has acknowledged in the Legislative Assembly the concerns around the Niue government's outstanding audit reports. In his speech to the Assembly as the newly elected Premier outlining his government's plans, he assured the Assembly of a collective resolve to complete the outstanding audit reports to 30th June 2018 by 30th October this year. The latest audit report for Niue is for the 2014-2015 financial year, which was tabled in Parliament in April this year. However, 5 years in arrears of audit reports are still pending.
Something that we talk a lot about, our financials and our audits, Honourable Speaker. We all know with deep concern the backlog of accountability audit reports since 2015 or 2016 till now. We are confident that the hire of Deloitte's accountancy company will assist Treasury in completing the overdue reports in time. And I am pleased to report to this House, it's only this morning that I received an update report that they are doing very well and they might be completed sooner than later, these outstanding audit reports. I also want to assure this Assembly of our collective resolve to complete the outstanding audit reports to 30th of June 2018 by the end of October 2020. We shall honour and respect the important independent oversight role that the Office of the New Zealand Auditor General provides for the government and the people of Niue.
Concerns have been raised by the opposition members of Parliament over the outstanding audit reports and was also discussed during the general election campaign by the candidates in the public forums. There is no definite timeline as to when Niue will reopen its borders. Prior to the general election, the then Cabinet had decided that the borders would reopen by August. However, the Premier Delton Tangilanghi has told the Legislative Assembly that Niue is still far away from reopening borders. Niue is one of the few countries that are COVID-19 free. Tangilanghi says he hopes that once a government is extremely sure of our borders regaining safe status from COVID-19, government can cautiously reopen the air links between Niue and New Zealand. He says he is conscious of the fact, however, Niue has a delicate population and must be very sure in calculated decisions not to take the unnecessary risk for commercial gain over national security interests and the well-being of the people. In the meantime, the Premier says, please continue to follow the health advice and do continue to practice good hygiene manners at all times.
We are still far away from reopening our borders yet, members, and I am sorry. Earlier this year, one of our key infrastructure assets, the wharf, was damaged by Cyclone Tino. We are still trying to restore the wharf project before the next cyclone season. But like any other projects, we need extra funding, support, and technical assistance to ensure the quality of work meets the prescribed standards. Already we have experienced severe disruptions to our tourism industry, which is the main hope to our economic development ambitions. It is affecting the private sector businesses, the whole government system, providing goods and services, the banking system, and the economy. It will continue to hamper our development efforts and livelihood in ways we have not experienced before. And while the future may appear bleak, we must come together to accept the reality and agree on the best solution to address the many economic, social, cultural, and moral issues.
And the Premier Delton Tangilanghi and Minister for Finance Crossley Tatui appears to have a shared portfolio in finance and planning. Following the appointment of the Premier's Cabinet of Unity, the detailed portfolios of the Cabinet Ministers have been issued publicly. According to the issued statement, the Premier Dalton Tangilangi is also the Minister for Central Agencies and Commercial Agencies. His ministerial portfolio states that the Premier is responsible for finance and planning, which deals with the Treasury Department of Government. The Treasury Department is responsible for the national budget. Crosley Tatui is the Minister for Infrastructure and Finance. His ministerial portfolio states that he is also responsible for finance and planning, however, only for customs, statistics, immigration, taxation, economics, and trade. In yesterday's Assembly sitting, Member of Parliament Olaf Jacobson raised concern over the portfolio, questioning whether there are two ministers for finance. While responding to the Premier's speech, Jacobson said that if the Premier is going to appoint Crosley Tatui as the Minister for Finance, the Premier needs to give all the finance responsibilities under the finance portfolio, adding that Tatui is well suited for the entire finance portfolio. BCN News understands that this is the first time the Premier of Niue has appointed a Member of Parliament from the previous opposition and has been allocated the portfolio of Minister of Finance. BCN News is also seeking clarification from the Premier on the portfolios. Government ministries and departments will be scrutinized to exercise responsibility and astute leadership. According to the Premier, they are to ensure to practice good governance, transparency and accountability. He says in the short time of the government, they have already started looking at evaluation of the public sector transformation, aging workforce and succession planning, superannuation, student loans, salaries and allowances, priority projects. All findings, he says, will be released straight after. And finally, government aims to be more forthcoming with information about their decisions and discussions through holding more press conferences and issuing official statements to the media. This is Cabinet's new initiative. According to the Premier, after Cabinet meetings, a press conference of any substantial matters approved by Cabinet or any such important matters arise or updates such as COVID-19 shall be released immediately to the media in the public foyer. Premier Dalton Tangilangi announced this as part of the efforts for good governance during his speech on his government's plans to the Legislative Assembly yesterday. In addition, he says the press statements are to be readily made available for distribution to the public, however, except where information is classified as sensitive and highly confidential pending following due process. The public and media will be notified accordingly, he says. Tangilangi added the government will focus on developing and using the government websites for ease of communication to the wider public. However, he says government plans on regulating social media comments. And that's BCN News for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Do join us same time next Monday. Until then, have a safe weekend.